And now in our news bulletin tonight, I am delighted to be joined by the Chairman and the Chief Executive Officer of Lufthansa Group, Mr. Carsten Spohr. You're very welcome to this interview.
Good evening. Thank you.
Now, it's a pleasure to have you here. I just learned that this is your first time in the country, in Rwanda. How special could that be for you?
Well, indeed, I've been told about Rwanda so many years. It's finally time to come here.
Right.
And to feel the positive dynamic of this country, not only in our industry, aviation, but overall has impressed me. I've also been able to visit some corporate responsibilities, activities which we are doing here.
Right.
So, positive impression indeed.
Right. Now, as the Chief Executive Officer of Lufthansa Group, how important is the African airline market to you?
Well, with our global network, which we operate as one of the largest aviation groups in the world, Africa has been the most dynamic in the last year. We have been growing here by 10% last year alone. We're now serving 40 destinations in Africa. So the importance of this market, not only for us, but also for the global industry, is growing and growing and growing.
Right. Now, talking about the growth, what's your strategy in that, as part of that growth? What's your African strategy as part of the aviation growth?
Well, first of all, the strategy of Lufthansa Group around the world is to outperform our competition by quality.
Right.
So we try to bring that Belgium, Swiss, German quality into Africa. At the same time, we're serving those 40 destinations in 30 countries with our various aircraft and various fleets. But I think it's also worth to mention that we not only want to be part of the future of the African aviation market. We have been serving, for example, Kigali since 75 years, since 1945 with Brussels Airlines, in those days Sabena. So we're proud to be part of the history and proud to be part of the future of this exciting aviation market.
Interesting. Talking about SN Brussels that operates here in the country, it's been about 3 years since you last took all the stake, 100% stake of SN Brussels as an airline. Now, I wanted to ask, how do you anticipate now tapping into Rwanda's growing aviation sector, considering now that there is another airport that is coming up, which also comes up with a little bit of competition, since we have another airline investing in the airport. How do you look to tap into that aviation sector that is growing in Rwanda?
Well, again, as somebody who has been serving this market since 75 years, we're not surprised that now others are detecting the potential of this market as well. And therefore, we are proud not only to serve this market, in this case 6 times a week from Brussels, we're also proud that RwandaIR, the local airline, is a customer of the Lufthansa Group, both in maintenance, repair and overhaul, but also in IT. Actually, I was having breakfast this morning with our local staff, and some of them are German engineers who take care of the fleet of RwandaIR. So again, that's also part of our role in developing this aviation market. Besides
the aviation, you're involved in corporate responsibilities, of which you have a couple of projects that are running in the country. Would you share a little bit more light into that?
Yeah, we're actually running 2 networks around the world. One is the network of our airplanes, with 800 airplanes operating 4,000 flights every day. But also there's a network of our hearts, which is the Help Alliance, where our staff around the world takes care in those communities we serve to help those who are in need. And we're also running 2 projects here in Rwanda. I took a whole day yesterday to visit a charity eye clinic, which is very impressively run by a Belgian doctor, and our staff who arrived there by bikes with the Bike of Africa initiatives, raising funds for charity, met there. That was a very emotional day, and it also makes me proud of this as a CEO, that our company contributes to local communities in such a way.
Right, right. Now, as we wind up with this interview, with over 65 years of experience that you have, and with more than 40 plus destinations, what futuristic plans do you have, in the aviation sector, not just in Africa, but generally?
Well, they have been growing, as I mentioned, in Africa 10% alone, as we have seen generally the last years, an amazing growth numbers in the industry. So I think now we are rather looking at stabilizing our growth, optimizing quality and punctuality, especially in Europe, where there are still bottlenecks existing in infrastructure, and at the same time investing into new technology on the digital side, but more visible on the aircraft side. Lufthansa is receiving a new aircraft every 10 days. And any of these aircraft is consuming 25% less fuel than its predecessor, producing 25% less CO2. So there's a big, big responsibility as Lufthansa for one of the biggest airline groups in the world in regard to the environment as well. So I think it's a lot about technology in the next years, making aviation more efficient and at the same time reducing our impact on the environment.
Interesting. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.